Hi guys!
What's up?
What? It is Tuesday night. We are so happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, we're so pumped to be meeting together again. I don't know if you know this, but we're supposed to be up at Hume Lake right now. As much as we would love to be there,
we know that it's God's plan that we're
God's
not,
plan,
and we're here, and it's fine, but we wish we were there with you right now. we're reminiscing about Hume. Nick, what was your favorite memory ever of Hume?
Going into my freshman year was my first year as a camper, and we were in this like prank war. I mean, guys, you'll know, like when you get into a prank war, there are no rules.
There are rules.
My friend pooped in a Pringles can and left it upside down.
You can tell that story with me not next to you.
Okay, so I actually never went to Meadow Ranch as a camper, but as a counselor, I remember doing the belly flop competition, and I like smacked my face on the like water so
Face flop or
hard.
belly
It was
flop?
like, so I did a front flip into a belly flop,
Okay.
and just that momentum, like I swear, like I had like a bloody nose, and it was just not a fun time. But it was a fun time. Yeah.
Wow, that was awesome. Okay, this is also my sister. This is my favorite memory of Hume. And I just have to show the world this video. This is her doing the like slip and slide after the die words. It's horrible. Slow-mo again. Her face. And all 500 campers are watching.
My favorite memory of Meadow Ranch is we won rec that year. Yeah, we did.
Wow,
Who was in
Molly's
second?
Molly was in second? Yes.
Or the amount of milkshakes that you consume in 1 week. I probably eat like 2 milkshakes.
Peanut butter and cookies and cream, am I right?
No, I like to mix it up. Like you can't have the same one.
No, peanut butter and cookies and cream every time. Easy. And if you're watching and you've been to Wagon Train in the past too,
Oh my gosh.
if you're like, man, I just wish we went to summer camp, because Wagon Train is also the best. I had the best time at Wagon Train.
Yeah, sleeping in those covered wagons.
Yeah,
Those sound
D&D.
awesome.
No, Nick's hating on it. He sounds positive it's not. It's the best too. And
Yeah,
literally,
D&G.
you would have gone over to Meadow this year, and we wish you did. No, it's great. Good things about not going to Hume, the bus.
Oh, the bus rides.
Who's here throwing up on the bus?
No, I don't get busted.
Always fun.
Always one. Like there's so many fun parts about camp, but man, there's so many lifelong decisions that are made. Like what do you?
Yeah, the
like?
very first time I really decided to make my faith my own was 6th grade at Meadow Ranch. The speaker was a guy named Ron. Don't know anything about him now, but he literally reminded me what it meant to be a follower of Jesus. And before my faith was my parents, and I feel like at summer camp it made it my own.
I remember the call. So I was going to school. I was going into my freshman year in college when I was a counselor for 7th and 8th grade guys. And it was that summer that I felt God call me to be a youth pastor because working with middle schoolers. So I'm doing what I'm doing today because of you guys. So thank you for that.
And here's the thing, Nick just said because of you guys, and I just want to make sure we know this, is that we don't have camp this year. Obviously, we're not on the mountain right now, but that doesn't mean that we aren't still doing life together, doing ministry together, seeking after Jesus together, if that's online or however God calls us to be.
We could still, Hume Lake could still happen here.
Yeah, we want to really make sure you guys know that just because we're not on the mountain, we're not closer to God there. And so those relationships, those memories, they can be still made in the South Bay, they can be still made here.
So Hume Lake actually packaged together a theme for us to do. So we are actually really excited to dive into that theme. It's called Camp Kajabi. So we're gonna have a couple challenges for you to do. We're gonna have a couple of encouragements. We have 3 main takeaways of what are the best parts about Hume. And we're gonna challenge you to do them throughout the week, like solo time, getting alone with God, like worshiping, like what does it mean to worship, not like with other people, but just like yourself and God. What does it mean to be connected to a small group leader or counselor? Like all these things are probably the best parts about camp and something that can happen down the mountain. So we really want to encourage you with that.
And Hume packages the videos. It has theme videos for us. It has this theme of the church and the local church and why it's important. And we're just gonna be talking about that for the next 3 weeks with you guys.
It's awesome. So so we're gonna watch those theme videos together. We're gonna dive into a message, and we're really just gonna reminisce on the best parts about Hume Lake that can happen here.
Yeah.
So Nick and Ashley just talked about all of their favorite memories from Hume, and personally one of my favorite things about Hume is the skits that they do. So they take stories from the Bible and then they translate it into these videos, and sometimes they're in person too. And it just like explains the story so well. It is totally okay to laugh at it. That's what it's meant for. It's just some people up at Hume that recorded this video for you guys to try to experience camp back at home. We are gonna have a great 3 weeks of looking at this theme of Camp Kajabi.
Welcome. Welcome to Camp Kajabi. I'm troop leader Tobias. That's Sam.
Has anyone seen my rubber bands?
That's Barb. And that's Susie. Let me help you with that. What do you got here, rocks? Our first assembly will be at 1800 hours, sharp, and see you later, crocodile.
Come on, I'll show you the ropes.
But the ropes are over there.
No, I mean I'll show you around.
So, what's your name?
Johnny.
But why does your bag say...
Okay, Susie.
Sup? Camp Lamo? Lame Sauce? Camp Lamozine? You guys should come to my camp. All of the camp, none of the lameness.
Who are these guys?
I don't know who they are this year.
We change our name every year. Stay relevant with the times. We were Ignite, then Velocity, then Evolution, then Revolution, then Roar, like a lion.
So what are you this year?
Fuego. It means fire. In another language.
Tim, wow, you are looking sharp. It's been a while. How are you?
I know what you're trying to do. Butter me up with your endearing kindness.
Come on, let's get out of here. Later, losers.
Well, that was uncomfortable. What's Tim's problem?
Tim and Tobias? They used to be friends.
What happened?
Tim grew up in this troop, but wanted nothing to do with the Scoutmaster.
Come on, guys. Let's get ready for the welcome assembly.
What are we waiting for?
You'll see.
Caw! Caw!
Caw! Caw!
Fiddly doop! Fiddly doop!
Fiddly doop! Fiddly doop!
Who here knows how the troops began?
Paul Tarsuski?
No.
Peter Barjuana?
John the Dunker?
No! To tell the story of the troops, we must start at the beginning. Not with Peter, not with Paul, not with John the Dunker. Good man. Weird diet. But with
Father and Son.
yes! The story of the troops began before mountains and trees even existed. It started with an agreement that the scoutmaster would give his son a gift that would cost the son his life.
What do you mean?
The scoutmaster. Oh! That's the bedtime bell. Ask me in the morning. But for now, to bed.
I don't know what all of you guys have been doing during quarantine, but I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I actually, so there are a lot of trends, a lot of shows have been released during quarantine. One of the shows that I have not been watching, I did not hop on the Tiger King train. I know everyone was saying like, oh, it's this documentary about tigers. Oh wait, no, it's like way more than that or something like that. So when all the trends are like, did Carol Baskin kill her husband? I'm like, I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. And I didn't find it really appealing to watch. I don't know if any of you guys agree, disagree, or whatever. But I've been watching a lot of Netflix, and man, quarantine would be really, really hard for me if Netflix wasn't a thing. When I was younger, I used to have to physically go into a store if I wanted to watch or rent a movie or a video game or anything like that. In fact, there's this store called Blockbuster. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. If you haven't, man, I don't know what to tell you. But there's a store called Blockbuster, and Blockbuster at the time was a multi-billion-dollar company because you could go to a store and you can rent as many movies as you want, as many video games as you want, keep them for as long as you want, and return them whenever. My family had a subscription where we can have 2 movies and 2 video games out for as long as we want, and unlimited. You could get as many as you want as long as they're available. And I remember like a weekend for me was like Friday getting off of school, going to Blockbuster and renting a couple video games, a couple movies, and calling it like that's an awesome weekend. And then I remember like a few years later after I'm getting into this Blockbuster, I hear about other people investing in this company or like trying to get this subscription to this company where you would go online and fill out like, here's all the movies and here's all the video games that I want. And this company would send it to you. So you don't have to physically go into a store, which was mind blowing. And yeah, they would send it to you. And as soon as you send it back, they would send you the next thing on your list, which was really interesting. And the Blockbuster, this once multi-billion-dollar company, was able to purchase this smaller company, or given the option to purchase this smaller company for $50 million. Now, this company was Netflix, and at the time, it was a lot different from what you guys know Netflix to be. But Blockbuster looked at this smaller company and said, no, I don't want to purchase that because they don't do anything that we don't do here at Blockbuster. Now, fast forward a few years later, Netflix is now one of the biggest companies in the world, and Blockbuster, this once multi-billion-dollar company, has been diminished to one single location in, I believe it's Oregon. Now, what happened to Blockbuster? What happened? Many people say that they failed to innovate. They became no longer relevant. They failed to adapt to the changing times. Most importantly, they didn't change their strategy to the next generation. You see, today, this is how some people refer to the church. They say that the church is irrelevant, culturally unnecessary, not able to adapt to a new generation. In fact, there's this alarming statistic. Now I'm talking to middle schoolers and high schoolers right now. There's this incredibly alarming statistic, and kind of like really it motivates me to do what I do. But there's a statistic that 70% of you that are watching this right now, when you graduate high school, you will walk away from the church. 70% of you will walk away from your faith. A lot of you that are walking away will claim that the church is irrelevant, culturally unnecessary, not able to adapt, outdated. You see, some news articles say that the church needs to learn from companies like Blockbuster, who failed to innovate, failed to change the changing environment, failed to adapt to a new generation, or they will die. So this video that you guys just watched, this theme video, it kind of set up the story of two different troops. You have Camp Kajabi, and then you have Camp Fuego. And then some people are like, I don't know what they call themselves this year. They kind of change every single year. And you saw Johnny Artavenis, who played that character of Camp Fuego, and he's like, yeah, we used to be called Revolution, then we're Ignite, then Evolution, and now we're Fuego. And this church is guilty, or this troop is guilty of changing who they were every year to change with the times. And this is what many people believe the church needs to do in order to survive, decline, and eventually die. But we know that the church is different. We know that the church is different from all these man-made organizations who are with man-made ideas, man-made people. The church is different, and one that God himself created. Jesus, first time he used the word church was in Matthew 16. And he says, I will tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not overcome it. The first time Jesus referred to the church. So the question is that what we want to answer today in this week of our series is, what is the church and why is it necessary? And why is it necessary? Number one, my first point today is the church is not a place for perfect people. The church is not a place for perfect people, and I want so desperately for whoever's watching this right now, I want so desperately for you guys to grasp that. And I'll be the first to tell you that there are so many people, me included, like, man, we are so far from perfect. And the church is not a place for perfect people. One person said it this way: the church is not a place for perfect people. It's a place for broken people to be made whole again. See, and the world will tell you that you have to look for other places or other people or other things to be made whole again. But it is only through the work that Jesus does in our life where we are be able to be made whole. See, I love right before Jesus says that statement in Matthew 16 about on this rock I will build my church. He asks his disciples, his friends, what is everybody saying about me? Like, who are people saying that I am? Some people are like, oh, John the Baptist or a prophet. Here's what everyone's kind of saying about you. And then Jesus asks his disciples, he's like, okay, but who do you say that I am? Who do you say that I am? And a little side note, that question is one of the most important questions that each of us have to answer for ourselves. Because if Jesus is just a cool guy, if Jesus was just this historical figure, if Jesus was just a good teacher, if Jesus is just a genie, someone that you go to when you need something, all those things, all those different misconceptions of who Jesus is, that won't change your life. But Peter answers that question this way. He says, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And then Jesus declares, Peter, on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not overcome it. Is he saying, like, Peter, you are going to be my church? You are going to be the church? No. He's saying, your confession of who I am as the Messiah, Son of the living God, that confession is what I'm going to build my church on. You see, Peter recognized that he couldn't do it alone. So the church, the first thing that we want to recognize right now is the church is not a place for perfect people, but where broken people can meet Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of the living God, and be made whole again. Second thing, the church is not a building. The church is not a building, and during this season, we are recognizing this more than ever because I'm seeing all these news articles and all these conversations of people saying that we need to open up churches again. You know, they're closed and we're not meeting, so therefore the church isn't meeting right now. Or people saying like there's all these different restrictions of when churches can meet and all these things. And I want to tell you right now that the church does not consist of just simply a building. Church means so much more than that. See, churches consist of a body of people who believe and affirm who Jesus is. See, like Peter declaring Jesus as the Messiah, the Lord, Son of the living God, the church consists of people who collectively affirm that belief. See, Paul consistently, he writes throughout the Bible, wherever you're watching, you are not simply a citizen of like the United States, the South Bay, maybe you're watching it from other parts of the world. I don't know where we're really tuning in from. You're not just a student at this school. He says your main citizenship belongs to God's church. He's like, you belong somewhere way bigger than just your geographical region. You're identifying with a certain group of people. He says your main citizenship is belonging to the church of God. You see, the church is not just a building, but a body of people who collectively affirm who Jesus is as the Son of the living God, and we can be made whole through that. Third thing, my final thing, how does the church accomplish its mission? You know, we always talk about being on mission. You know, the church exists for a certain purpose and mission. How do we do that? How does the church accomplish its mission? Through you. Through you. And a lot of you are probably thinking like, wait, me? No, other people maybe, but not me. How does the church accomplish its mission? Through you. See, we ask ourselves, how does the church accomplish the mission that Jesus set out over 2,000 years ago and even before that? How does the church accomplish its mission? Accomplishing it, and how is it still accomplishing it today? Through you. It's not just established through these great pastors or through these great people who communicate so clearly, who like wear all the right clothes and say all the right things or act a certain way or speakers that move people to tears. It's not just through a camp like Hume Lake. He is daily building his church through each of you. 1 Peter 2:9-10 says, "But you, each of you, are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light. Once you were not a people, but now you are the people of God. Once you have not received mercy, but now you have received mercy." You see, you matter and you are valuable. Look at those words. He says, you are a chosen people, God's special possession. He called you out, each of us out of darkness into his wonderful light. We are the people of God, his church. And it's through each of us that he accomplishes his mission daily. And so we are living in a time of crisis. And I don't need to tell you that you have to look hard before you find darkness, division. I hear about so many different instances of people feeling lonely. Like loneliness is at an all-time high, depression, anxiety, suicide. And I've talked to many of you who want to help, and that is just so incredible. You are a generation who wants to be a part of the solution and truly make an impact in the world around you, and that is something that I look up to you guys so much. And I want to tell you that if you truly want to make an impact and impact the world, if you want to make the biggest difference in the world around you, there is no greater way than your devotion to the church. You see, where imperfect people can be made whole again and experience God's love, mercy, and fulfillment. It's through the church that God is accomplishing his mission, and it is through you that you are accomplishing the mission of the church. So let's pray as we head into our last sort of segment tonight. God, thank you so much for just the ability to continue to meet. God, thank you for technology that allows, even during a crisis like this where we're not physically able to meet together, God, that we're able to continue to be a body of believers and to continue to exist as the church. God, I pray that every student here just would be able to feel your love and your presence like never before. God, I pray for everyone here who might be experiencing loneliness or anxiety, depression, God, anything like that, that you would just remind them of your love for them. God, would you just give them people in their lives, friends, family, that want to be there for them and help them. God, we just love you so much. And I thank you for Ignite and Amplified. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, so in addition to that, guys, we just want to remind you what's the best part of Hume. The best part of going off to a summer camp up in the Sequoias, not in the South Bay. What are some things we walk away from and think like, wow, this really impacted my week? And I think for me, and for a lot of us, it's that solo time. There's something about just being up at Hume and being in front of the lake, having a milkshake or a coffee or whatever it is, and just spending time with the Lord. And it's crazy because we make time for it there when we have everything else that's happening. I'll stay up till like 3 a.m. and then I still want to get up at 6 a.m. to make sure to get my solo time in. But I don't do that here. We don't spend time to make sure that's an important part of our morning, of our day, of our evening. And we just want to encourage you this week. Man, is that later this evening, if it's tomorrow, we're all going to do it together on Thursday. But take a moment and go spend some solo time. Find a really beautiful location, if that's at the beach, if that's your backyard, if it's it can be anywhere. Get a drink and spend 30 minutes with no interruptions. Turn off your phone. What does it mean to actually spend some solo time with the Lord? If you've never done that before, that's okay. Now's a great time to start. It just involves following, just opening up the Word, praying to the Lord. We're going to send out to you guys a step-by-step of how to do this. And I would love for this week just for us to work on a relationship personally with the Lord and remind ourselves that taking this solo time with the Lord is important. Really excited, huge to walk away from camp for me.
All right, guys, really quick. 2 really great things about Hume. Number 1, recreation. You guys know and love it. Number 2, Hume apparel. If you guys want to know more, join our Zoom after party. We're going to play an awesome game and you're going to find out how you can win a gift card to get some Hume apparel. See you there.